Hi everyone, welcome to Val Fashion's YouTube channel. Today we'll be learning how to make a 360 pleated peplum. This 360 pleated peplum is going to be a high-low peplum. Okay, so basically the measurements needed to achieve this peplum is the round waist circumference where you'll be attaching the peplum, and the round waist circumference is 32 inches. The length of the peplum I'm looking for the front length I'm looking for 8 inches. The back length I'm looking for 13 inches, meaning that I want the back to be longer with 5 inches as compared to the front. Okay, so to achieve the radius or to get the radius of this peplum, I'll be dividing this 32 inches by 6.28, which is our formula that we use for achieving a 360 flare. It was gotten from the pie chart formula, which we know for a 360 flare, for a 360 circle is 2 pi r, 2 pi r, 2 pi r, and we know that this 2 and then pi is 22 over 7. So we're looking for r now, which is the radius of the circle. So we're just going to multiply these 2 times this will give us 44. Then 44 divided by 7 will give us 6.28. So that's how we arrived at this 6.28 formula. So now we're looking for the radius of our circle because we already have the circumference, which is 32. Because this c equals this, you understand? So this is for 360 flare. So for our 180 flare, of course, it's not times 2. It's going to just be pi r, and then that's it for the 180 flare. Okay, so now to know the radius of this circle, so we're going to be dividing our 32 inches by 6.28, and that will give us 5 inches. So remember I said it's going to be a pleated peplum. It's going to be a pleated peplum. So because I want to have pleats around this peplum, I'm going to multiply this 5 by 3. So which means I'm multiplying the radius by 3 to be able to achieve pleats around the waistline of this person. So when you multiply this 5 by 3, it will give us 15. So that will give us 15 inches. So it's still the same thing as saying 32 times 3 and then you divide it by 6.28. It will still give you the same 15. So you can still say 32 divided by 6.28. Then whatever you get as your answer, you multiply by 3. It will still give you the same thing. So now we have established the fact that R is 15 inches. So now we have our 15 inches. So the length of the peplum that we're looking for, like I earlier said, that we're going to be using the length of 8 inches in front and the length of 13 inches at the back. So meaning that when we add these two measurements together, what we will have is going to give us 21 inches. That's 13 plus 8 will give us 21 inches. So we are looking for the length of 21 inches. Okay, so we're looking for a length of 21 inches. So now what does this mean? To know the amount that we're going to be using to achieve this peplum, we're going to say this extra 5 that we have here, because when you say 13 minus 8, it will give us 5. So this extra 5 that we have here, we're going to divide it by 2. So if we divide this our 5 by 2, what would this give us? It will give us 2.5. So 2.5, that's what it will give us. So now we're going to say 2.5, 8 plus 2.5, and then this same 8 now will be plus 2.5. So that's what we're going to be using to draft our flare before we now go ahead to later arrive at this 13 inches. Just follow me carefully, you will understand it. So now we're dividing this extra 5 inches, which is making the back longer than the front, which is the extra 5 inches. We're dividing it by 2. So when we divide it by 2, that means the peplum, now the length of the peplum we're looking for, is going to be 10.5. 10.5. So we're looking for a length of 10.5. So 10.5 plus our radius that we have here. So we're going to say 10.5 plus our radius that we have here. Everything will give us 25.5. So now this is what we are going to be using to draft this circle or this pleated flare. So I already have my fabric folded. I'll be drafting directly on my satin fabric, which is going to serve as my lining. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'll go ahead and mark my go ahead and mark my 25 inches, 25.5. So I'll go ahead and mark my 25.5. Okay, another thing I forgot to mention is that I'll be using this scalloped part of the lace to finish off. I want to have the scalloped part of the lace round the flare, that's round the pleat. So I'm going to be reducing this measurement now by 1 inch. So this scallop part, I'm just going to be cutting 1.5. So half inch will be for sewing. So automatically the full length I'm using now, everything I'm using. So by the time I subtract 1 inch from this measurement, I'll be left with 24.5. But remember that I'll be using half inch to join it. So basically what I'll be using is 25 inches. So this is for us to get it straight. That I won't be using 25.5, I'll be using 25 inches. So I'll mark my 25 inches now. Take note of where I'm placing my tape. I'm placing it from the apex here. So I haven't marked my 25 inches, so I'll just connect it. Then I'll bring in my scissors and cut it out. So now I have my 25 inches. Okay, so remember that we said we want the front to be longer, the back to be longer by 5 inches. Okay, so can you see this part? Can you see that these two parts, this is the front and this is the back, this opened part? Can you see that as it is unfold, you can't open this side? So this is the part that has this double fold that we can see. So now I'm going to come here now and shifting. Remember that we divided our 2.5 by 2. So I'm going to come here now and shifting by this 2.5 from the center here. I'll mark my 2.5 here. Okay, so by marking this 2.5 now, shift this way. Can you see what I've done? I marked my 2.5 and I shifted this way. So can you see now that I have 5 inches now showing up at the back? That's for this back. Can you see my 5 inches here now? Okay, so now go ahead to mark the radius. So having marked this 2.5 and I've shifted, so can you see my 5 inches has appeared? So I've shifted the remaining 2.5 to the back now. So I'm going to go ahead now and mark the 15 inches, which is the radius. Okay, so I'm going ahead to mark my 15 inches. So now 15 inches, 15 inches, 15 inches, 15 inches. So I have 15 inches now. So now this is my front length and this is the back length. Okay, so I'll go ahead and cut out this radius now. Okay, so here we are. So this is what I've cut out. So this is the front and then this is the back of my peplum. Okay, so now if you take note, you will see that I have, let me measure this now. I have 7 inches here. So can you see that we have 7 inches? A little shorter. This is 7 inches. Remember I said I'll be using the lace mouth. That's the lace edge, the scallop part, to complete the length of this lace to give me 8 inches. Okay? To give me a length of 8 inches. And I also have half inch for joining this. So basically what I'll be cutting out here, I'll be cutting out a length of 2 inches, 2 inches to make up my length. Half inch will go into this part and then half inch will go into the length of into the joining of the waistline. Okay, so this is what we have here. So I'm going to take my measurement now to know the width of the lace edge I will cut it. So here I have 36 inches. So here on the lower part I have 40 inches. So 14, sorry, 42 inches, 42 times 2, because remember that is on fold. 42 times 2, that's 84. And then here is 36, 36 times 2, that's 72. So I'm looking for 72 plus 84. That will be the lace edge that I'll be cutting out. And then remember I said that the length is going to be 2 inches of the lace edge. Okay, so I'll go ahead to slash open. I'll go ahead to slash open this back piece, because this is where my the zipper of the dress, this is where it's going to run on the back. So this is my center front and then this is the center back. So now, before I cut out the lace edge, I'm going to place this on my lace fabric, on this Swiss lace, and then cut out exactly the same thing. Then we'll go ahead to cut out the lace edge. Lace edge round my flare, that's my peplum. Okay, so the next thing now to do is to turn it with my lining. So I'm going to be placing my lining just like I did. I'll get the center of the lining. You know, I'm using a doll face bridal satin, so it's going to now be like this, bad face of the doll face facing good face of the fabric, so that by the time I turn it, it will go, that's good face will now face the bad side of the lace, because this is a lace I'm working with. So I'm going to pin it and then sew it like I did for this one. So I'll try to sew exactly on this half inch that I used to sew it here, and then I'll come back and turn this side. So I'll do that and come and show us. So as you can see, I've turned my peplum. Can you see what we have? We have our lace edge, and then I've turned the peplum. So you can see here is our center back. This part that is open, this is where the zip will run, and then this part is the center front. Can you see this part that we join together, because the I couldn't cut the peplum. I couldn't cut just one, because this is a very wide peplum. You can see now. So you can see how wide it is. So I couldn't cut just one. So I had to cut two, and then I joined it here. Okay, turning it. The next thing to do is to start pleating our peplum. So we're going to be having, this is going to be the high, and then of course this part that is longer is going to be the low. And we're going to be pleating 1 inch. So we're going to pleat 1 inch. This side is going to give us half of the waistline, which is we're looking for a waist of 32 inches plus 1 inch for zip allowance. So this part is going to give us 16 inches, which is the waistline, and then 1 inch for our zip allowance. The other side too will give us the same thing. So I'm going to be pleating 1 inch. So from here I'm going to measure my 1 inch, and then this is 1 inch, and then 1 inch. So for each pleat you are taking 3 inches. What does this mean? Can you see I have 1 inch here, and then underneath I have 1 inch, and then this part that is laying upon, that the pleat is laying upon, that's 1 inch. So that means we have 3 inches here on this particular pleat. Okay, so we have 3 inches here on this particular plate. So I'll do the next one. It's going to be knife pleats that I'll be creating. So the same 1 inch, and then 1 inch. So if we place our tape, can you see we have our 1 inch, so I'll do this till I get to the end. So this is 1 inch. So we'll keep marking 1 inch, then we'll pleat 1 inch. So I'm going to do this till I get to this end, and then I'll show us what it looks like. So after pleating peplum, so this is what we have. As you can see, So this is the center front, which is the high, and this is the center back, which is the low. Okay, so you can see how beautiful it came out. So right now, I have my zip allowance of 1 inch. Remember that when we were drafting, I didn't talk about zip allowance. By using the 6.8 formula, you get your zip allowance of 1 inch. You don't really need to add it. So you can try it and then let me know your outcome. So whatever your waist, what am I trying to say? Whatever your waist circumference is, if your waist circumference is 30 inches, when you divide that 30 inches by 6.28, it gives you automatically with extra 1 inch, which is for your zip allowance. Okay, that's when you cut outside the line. That's when you mark. Remember when we marked 15 inches? I cut outside the line. So if you cut on top or before the line, it will give you your exact measurement, which is the 30 inches. But if you want to have your extra zip allowance, so please cut after your chalk marking, it will give you your zip allowance. Okay, so that is it. So now from this center front here, I have, remember that the waist circumference is 32 inches. So half of 32 is 16. So but you can see I have 17 inch. So 1 inch here, this 1 inch I have here is for my zip allowance. So it's also applicable to this side because if I fold it into two, here that is the center front. Once I fold into two, can you see I'm having the same thing? So my pleats are stopping on the same point. I have my zip allowance of 1 inch. So I hope you enjoyed making this tutorial with me. If you did, please kindly like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Do not forget to put on the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video, and also subscribe so that you can help this channel grow. Thank you very much and see you in my next one. Bye.